Ross Chastain did choose the outside lane as the pole sitter. He said his first pole since 2018, and Brandon Jones with one of his best starts of the year in that 20 car, second front row start of 2026 for the 20 team.
Yeah, Ross was a factor in the truck race yesterday. They got off on pit strategy, but he had a truck capable of competing with Kyle Busch, who ended up winning that race.
You see everyone weaving. They're just trying to get those tires up to temp, cleaned off as best, especially these concrete tracks. You pick up a lot of that rubber off onto the tires. You want to get that cleaned off, get them ready for the restart, or for the start.
Got both the HendrickCars.com cars. Corey Day, Raja Caruth there in row 2. Taylor Gray, Sam Mayer make up row number 3. Nice crowd on hand in a beautiful day in Dover, Delaware. Ready to go for 200 laps. The NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series is green at the Monster Mile.
Saw the 20 at Brandon Jones spin his tires, but actually got a really good launch right there, even with being on the inside lane. Got a great battle for the lead right there on the inside.
Does he clear him here off the 2? That's key, not quite. So now Ross is able to fight back as you see cars all over the place behind them, side by side. This is so treacherous. Early there, he gets loose. That's what you run the risk of when you're that inside car. It takes away that right rear side force. He went up the racetrack.
Yeah, fortunately, Ross left him just enough room that it allowed Jones to slide up just a little bit, no contact.
Chastain gets the lead, only the second time he's led laps in his 14 Dover starts. The fight for clean air, so important here. Taylor Gray, who you see in the 54, started on the pole last year, led the entire distance of stage 1 from the pole. So that fight for track position important early.
See that outside lane struggling just a little bit. I thought with the treatment they did to the track that the outside came in quicker on the initial few laps we saw of the truck race yesterday. You got to wonder, is that starting to wear off, or is it just the difference in the trucks versus the cars?
Race for position inside the top 10. This is at the back of the top 10. Sheldon Creed, the 00, the gray car there this week. He's got 9th. Carson Kvapil in 10th, trying to challenge that spot as we flash forward. Here's Taylor Gray to the inside of Corey Day.
That's a really well executed pass, exactly how you want to do it. Get clear by the time you get to the middle of the corner so you can get some of that aero help on the right side of your car and get back to the throttle. When you end up side by side, especially like we saw from Brandon Jones on lower air pressures, you just don't quite know where the car's going to be. You don't quite have the security in it. In this racetrack, you are so on edge lap after lap, and when you get side by side, that just goes up a ton because you're just not exactly knowing exactly what amount of grip you're going to have.
Well, and as we're right on board with the GovX onboard cam here with Jesse Love, you look ahead, the 17 of Corey Day, we thought he had one of the best cars in practice. Carla actually picked him as her pick today, but struggling right here on the short run.
There.
Really loose.
First start for Day here at Dover, as is the case for many of these racetracks in his first full-time season, but certainly this one a bigger challenge than some of the others. You can see that car uncomfortable for the 17 as Love looks inside of it.
He's wiggling.
To work. Goodbye, 7.
That should come to the 17, though. Typically, your balance will build tighter here, as long as you don't hurt the rear tires too much.
He's going to hope so.
yeah, he's going to be praying for some rear grip in a second. Yeah. Tell you what, as I watch the steering wheel, though, of Jesse Love right there, he looks pretty comfortable to me for Dover. We watch these guys really hustle these cars in practice, and he's having to work the wheel a little bit, but not near as much as we saw some of the guys in practice.
Love's running in the 8th spot. Last week's second place finisher after that heartbreak at Watkins Glen in the final corner. Meanwhile, here's a battle for the lead. Brandon Jones has not let the 9 of Ross Chastain get away.
No, and there's a little bit of a trend here that I see with the Joe Gibbs racing cars. We saw Taylor Gray going by the 17 of Corey Day earlier. You see he's gotten by Raja Caruth now as well. And now we've got Brandon Jones, another Joe Gibbs racing car, working on the lead.
I feel like Brandon's picked up right where he left off from Dover last year, where he was trying to chase down Connor Zilich at the end of last year's race before it got range shortened. He was following a Junior Motorsports car, and what is he doing right now? Following a Junior Motorsports car.
How about the guy on the right, Parker Retzloff in the 99, plus 13 for the start of the race. So in 8 laps, he's passed 13 cars. Retzloff's got another fast car this weekend.
Action all over the racetrack here. We saw the one of Carson Kvapil dive past Jesse Love. Look at Retzloff here. You don't normally see 3 wide at Dover.
Well, that's how you get 13 in 8 laps.
That's right.
You got to
made it
more
work.
than one. That's right.
That is exactly how you do it. Powerball power movers. And as expected, Retzloff the biggest of those, plus 13. Blaine Perkins, I think, was one of those cars that he went by in that 3 wide move. So He's picked up a couple as well, but Retzloff trying to continue the streak of success that he's had the last few weeks. 3 straight top 10s for the 99. 10 laps in at Dover. This is the race for the lead. It's been all Ross Chastain from pole position. This move was key for Chastain to get ahead of the curve and take the lead over Brandon Jones.
Yeah.
Oh,
And we're going to stay here because we've got a
Retzloff.
crash. We were just talking about Parker Retzloff, and that's Jeb Burton, the other car. That's on the back straightaway going into turn 3, and Retzloff has got serious damage.
Yeah, and this actually starts ahead of them when we get some replays here. Brent Cruz, Jeb Burton has major damage. Brent Cruz had an issue off of 2. It was my pick, that's unfortunate, but he had an issue. They sort of got checked up behind him, and we end up with this incident between Retzloff and Jeb Burton. And Retzloff absolutely was flying through the field, so it's truly unfortunate.
See, the window net is down, and that appears to be day over for the 99.
It's such a hard track to get slowed down. When there's an accident in front of you, you just don't realize the speed you're carrying until it's almost like a super speedway wreck. Like when you get on the brakes, you just can't get slowed down. You see the damage there to the right rear quarter. It's not a day ender for the 19, but definitely looks like he's also gotten into the wall. That right front, the Goodyear missing off that tire.
Yeah, with how important Aero is here, it's going to take a lot of work to make that car have the grip that it had before this.
So
but yeah,
Cruz is running 13th here.
Right, so Ryan Sieg gets loose underneath him, kicks him up the track. He hits the right side, and it's behind them. You see that they're kind of, I believe they were almost checking up.
Oh yeah, LeVar Scott just, oh they do, they all check up. You see Jeb checks up, and then Retzloff gets into the back of him, and then the 45 of LeVar Scott gets into the back of Retzloff. Just kind of a accordion effect right there of Jeb seeing it first.
Well, hey, this is what we talk about. Things happen fast here at Dover under yellow. 12 laps in. NASCAR on the CW is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people. The Credit One Bank NASCAR American Express card. And by Progressive Insurance. Get in the savings lane today. Visit progressive.com. Back at Dover and under yellow for the first time today. The wheel and caution lights are on. The same wheel and emergency lights and sirens you see on the safety vehicles here at the track are protecting first responders in communities all across America. 4 cars involved in this stage 1 crash. Started with some contact between Ryan Sieg and Brent Cruz and ultimately collected Jeb Burton, Parker Retzloff, and LeVar Scott. Let's take a look at this replay brought to you by Progressive. Save when you bundle motorcycle, RV, and boat insurance. Visit progressive.com. Here's how it starts, just out the front window of Sammy Smith.
So you see just get loose, hip checks Brent Cruz, sort of an innocent bystander there, was giving Ryan Sieg plenty of room.
No caution. Keep digging.
He gets up the track, and then this causes Jeb Burton to be slow, or if Jeb was having another issue.
I think Jeb just checked up because he saw the 19 spinning to the bottom, not knowing which direction. If you watch the 19,
he's thinking he might be coming down the track
where's he gonna
something.
go? You're not sure, right? I don't know. He was awful early right there.
Yeah, he was awfully, and he was slow for sure. And I think Retzloff wasn't anticipating that. Then also got hit there by LeVar Scott at the same time.
Hey, and it's worth noting on Retzloff, qualified 14th, but made those unapproved adjustments, had to go to the back. He's collected in that. Would have maybe been right around Cruz if he'd started where he was supposed to, but either way, at the back of the field and got some day-ending damage because of it.
And it's a huge hit in the points for them. They came in plus 58 above the chase cut line for Parker Retzloff and Viking Motorsports, so not the day they were looking for to have an issue this early.
Let's head down to pit road and Heather DeBow with a update on the 88 of Raja Carruth.
And Dylan, there was a scary moment here yesterday as truck teams were setting up pit road for the truck race. They actually had an incident where one of the tire carriers was injured. Here you see in this video, the Spire Motorsports pit box was coming down the hill and lost brakes, and the team lost control of it. So tire carrier Donovan Williams was injured while attempting to stop the cart and essentially saved Fox Sports pit reporter Amanda Busick from being seriously injured. Now, thankfully, both Amanda and Donovan are okay. Donovan was treated for minor injuries. Here you see the picture with him and Amanda. He was released last night and able to fly home with the team this morning. But filling in for Donovan here, because he was supposed to pit for the 88 of Raja Carruth, is Jarius Moorhead. He was moved over from the 48 of Patrick Starapoli to be the tire carrier here today for Raja.
Thanks for that, Heather. And yeah, scary stuff for sure. And certainly so glad that was not worse. Those pit boxes are multiple thousands of pounds. So those things are, those are big pieces of equipment. So glad that everybody was okay there yesterday. Let's, before we go back to green, check in with Kim at the Care Center.
Parker Retzloff released from the Care Center. You were making your way through the field after starting from the rear. What happened?
Yeah, I don't know for sure. Just overall, I thought our practice didn't go great. We, probably the worst we fired off for the year, but they made great changes and adjustments going into this race. And I drove forward there and they checked up. I drove in the back of Jeb a little bit, and then just, I guess we both just got run clean over. I don't know. I guess it's hard for us to see what happened in front of us, but we checked up and just got run over. So overall, just very disappointed for everyone on the Funkaway Viking Motorsports Chevrolet and everyone who's put hard work into this. It just sucks if we don't make it in these races. I feel like we wreck really early. So just come back next week, I guess.
It's like you come off of turn 2 there and everybody is checked up and slowed down. It's hard to find an open lane there.
Well, the other thing is just the way you are in these cars, the way the corners are shaped, you can't see around the corner a ton, just like Bristol we talked about there. So a lot of that is blind for these drivers compared to what we see from the outside.
Unfortunate ending, though, regardless, for all of those guys, and Retzloff certainly disappointed. Field is set for the Echo Park Restart Zone. Echo Park Automotive, where car buying is easier, better, and happier. Back to green on lap 18, working to lap 45 in the conclusion of stage 1. Chastain, the leader, back in the outside lane, did not get as good of a start that time, and Brandon Jones in control as they go to 1.
Yeah, Chastain cannot get going on that outside lane, which is typically a little bit better. You see Jones has him cleared now. We thought Jones might actually have a little quicker car just before that caution came out, so we'll see what he can do now with some clean air.
Yeah, historically, the bottom's harder to hook up the rear
Always,
tires because you're having to kind of be at a worse angle as you come off the banking there, and it's awkward to get the power down. But great job by Brandon Jones. Is Quapple there to the outside of Williams Sawalich.
Yeah, get that top lane working a little bit here. Looks like he's still struggling, though. Sawalich is going to clear him on the inside. See Jesse Love trying to get to that quarter panel, just get his nose stuck in there. One's going to give him a little bit of room.
This is the race for 7th.
Right there.
Quapple will clear him, take that 7th spot. Love back to 8th. Look at this mess on the right side of the screen. Allgaier trying to work his way through some traffic outside the top 10.
Yeah, Justin hasn't made the progress that we thought. I mean, he started 13th. He's still in 12th right now, so I don't know if that car just doesn't fire off the way he wants. He didn't have good short run speed in practice, but they opted to go out late in practice. I thought, you know, we kind of
Inside bumper.
that was maybe the reason, but we don't see him moving forward near as fast as we expected.
Good run going for Harrison Burton there, just ahead of Allgaier in the 24 for Sam Hunt Racing. He's in 11th, Allgaier's 12th.
It's a lot of drivers testing that outside lane, but just not having a lot of success with it early on. I think it's kind of deceiving with the resin as we go on board here at Sammy Smith. The RB's on board with the resin and the rubber that's laid down into that, almost deceiving, like you think you can go there, but you can't. There just isn't quite the grip that we've seen maybe in the past, or you'd see later in a run as the bottom gets really rubbered up. So drivers are trying to make it work. It's just not quite there yet.
Well, and as you look at this track from those onboards, it looks really wide and it's black, and you see guys trying to move around here, but this is one of the most challenging tracks to make a pass on because of the speed that you have here and the distance difference from the bottom to that top where guys try to run. It is just extremely hard to complete the passes.
Race for 9th. Corey Day has it. Sheldon Creed wants it in the 0-0. Day has backslid from 3rd where he originally started.
And the rear end of that race car looks still out of the racetrack for Corey Day, as it did there for Justin Allgaier on the right side of your screen. He got loose underneath Harrison Burton, gives up that spot to Ryan Sieg.
Well, then we heard Allgaier's, crew come on and tell him it's hot, it's going to be slick. It's 82 degrees right now, same as we had in July last year here. So cars are going to be moving around a lot. You see Corey Day go to the top, and if you watch the 0-0 right there kind of shoot through the middle, you drive this track so weird where you drive in, you lift, and then you give it wide open throttle for just like a second to kind of get through the middle of the corner. Then you have to check up again, kind of drive up the hill. It's part of what makes completing that pass so hard.
Saw Ryan Sieg there. He'd gotten around Allgaier, so he's on the move. That's the right of the screen, trying to go by Harrison Burton here for 11th. Meanwhile, left side, Corey Day just trying to continue to hang on. Actually, excuse me, that's Raja Karuth. All right, first one of the day.
It's a rite of passage in this booth, by the way.
We are going to send Rick Hendrick a ham for Christmas for having multiple HendrickCars.com cars on the track because we mess it up constantly.
This is Corey Day. I know that for sure. He's still trying to hold off Sheldon Creed in that race for the 9th spot. Raja a little further ahead, running in that 5th spot.
One thing that I heard Corey Day say, and Carla talked about this in the pre-race, was he thought his car was better on the top. And you see now he's migrating up there. Balance is really loose on the bottom. Honestly, almost the opposite. Normally, if your car's loose, you get around the bottom better. If you're tight, you kind of want to run up the racetrack. But he's found some security there and making it work.
The only thing I can see is that he's sort of diamonding the corner, which allows you that straighter entry, straighter exit, and he's getting that run off the top. And that's when how it works when you are loose, is that if you can get it to where you can have that car straighter. But right there, you saw, had to check up the middle, almost slid the rear just a little too much. That allowed Sheldon Creed to get up beside him, but then that momentum off the top carries him past Sheldon.
Good racing here for inside of the top 10. Brandon Jones, the leader in this move, was key for the number 20 to get ahead of the curve and take the lead.
Men, get ahead of your curve.
Test your luck and make your power play by heading to your local lottery retailer to get in the game for tonight's estimated Powerball jackpot of $86 million. Things closing up at the front of the field. Brandon Jones, who has led for the third straight Dover race, is trying to finish this stage out with 7 to go. But Ross Chastain and then the 2 cars behind him, Sam Mayer and Taylor Gray, have both closed in.
Yeah, look where they're running. They've migrated to the top side of this racetrack as they start to chase the rubber. This is some of what we're figuring out with this resin. How would the rubber lay into the track? What would that cause these drivers to do? It was, what, 20 laps ago I was saying, I don't know if the outside line is there. Now everyone has shifted up the racetrack. We've seen drivers push it all the way up into the top side of the gray. They're diamonding the racetrack, which means entering and then turning back down, trying to get exits. So they're all over the place, trying to just find where the most grip is. But it's pretty awesome to see.
Some lap traffic here for 5th, 6th, and 7th. That's CJ McLaughlin in the 42. Carson Kvapil, Ray Sawalich.
He had a massive run because he ran the top of that end. It's going to be really hard to complete this pass.
Oh, he's using it as a pick.
Got a little pick right here. Awesome job right there by the 17. Let's see if he goes back to the top. He did this last run. Lap traffic plays such a huge role in this track. And you see he's kind of chasing the gray is what I would call that. And I don't know that it's as much about rubber as it is just trying to get to like some fresh compound or the traction compound they put on the racetrack. Just trying to get to that. You see William Sawalich right there in front of him. It's changed the dynamic of the race. Like normally you kind of fight for guys want to run the bottom, and now we're seeing everybody go to the top.
Sam Mayer riding in 3rd right now, attempting to hold off Taylor Gray in the 54. Let's get some 41 team radio.
Ross is starting to pick up speed, doing that with that lap. That was really fast on him, a 75. There you go. Utilize that big turn, make that straightaway long like you just did. Jason, I'm going to be in his ass all day. I want to win this race. Yeah, 10-4.
That's Kevin Hamlin, the spotter. I like it, taking things over. These guys at the front have not moved up the racetrack near as much as they have in the back half of the top 10, but I imagine word will reach them pretty quickly that that may be where they want to go, as we see Chastain move about a car width or so off the wall there in 2nd.
He's been all over the place. Yeah. He's tried a multitude of different lines. Brendan's been a little bit more conservative. I'd say Corey Day here, we're watching, trying to get around Sawalich, has been one of the most aggressive. You noted, Jamie, getting to the top, chasing that gray, going as high as you possibly can to get the runs off the corner. He was so loose earlier on, but this has obviously come to him in running the outside and getting those straight drives off the top side of the racetrack.
And there's a threshold, though, of going to the top here. Once you get right up by the wall, especially in 3 and 4, it gets rough. So you're chasing grip, but you get too high, and the car just starts bouncing really bad.
Into the stage here out of turn number 4, Brandon Jones will see the green and white checkered flag. 17th career stage win for the 20 and his first here at Dover. Good race there. Ross Chastain, Sam Mayer, Taylor Gray, and Raja Karuth fill out the top 5. 45 laps in, everybody chasing the 20 car, looking for his first Dover win. The wheel and caution lights are back on. What you're seeing on the track right now is the same wheel and emergency warning technology used by police, fire, and EMS vehicles across America, trusted every day to protect those who protect us. This stage 1 break brought to you by Arby's. Brandon Jones picks up the stage win. Had a couple cars head to the garage, by the way. Logan Bearden and LeVar Scott. And Josh Balicki in position to get the free pass on this yellow. Progressive pit road is open, and we start with Kim.
And leader Brandon Jones has the first available box. He said the cycles freed us up, but front turn was hindering me, especially middle exit. 4 fresh Goodyear tires, snow go fuel, air pressure. You see Ross Chastain in the middle, tight the entire run. Slight rotation on the entry. They're going to do half a pound out of the right front. Up on the track bar, you saw that chassis adjustment right there, as well as tires and fuel. Heather.
And for Sam Mayer on the bottom of your screen, telling his crew chief Jason Trincheri he's tight 4 numbers, but not bad. He just can't get through the center and off of the exit of 4. But they're going to do a round of in the right rear and an air pressure adjustment here for Sam Mayer.
Get a look at the race off Progressive pit road. Pit road is so narrow here. And Ross Chastain looks like he's going to beat Taylor Gray and Raja Karuth to the line. So some movers there on pit road. Brandon Jones down 7 spots. That's a rare misstep for a great pit crew. We told you Brandon Jones lost 7 spots in this cycle of pits, and here's why.
Yeah, so a little slow on the right rear here. You see the rear changers behind the front as they go around the car. He should be ahead of him. He's basically first to the tire there. And as you go to the left side, it's a similar story, just a little slow in terms of getting this left rear off. See multiple hits. Now it's far more than 5 hits. Struggling to get the tire off. Now hitting all 5 on the left rear. That's about 3 seconds slower than the average stop, and lost 7 spots. And then we have contact here between the 19 of Brent Cruz.
Cruz has got to get all 4 corners today.
He just make it perfect.
If somebody can get his left rear, we will have completed all 4.
Let's take a look quickly at Raja Caruth's Race Fit Health Report, brought to you by Breasttree.
Well, you see it right there. I feel like the PR guy might have filled this out more than Raja, though. I see Arby's. I see, a little pizza, chocolate chip cookies. I like the workout, though. I know he's into fitness. He does a really good job with all that. I think he and Mark Martin could hang out with that music selection.
I've actually used his Instagram to find new music occasionally.
Yeah.
He and I send each other sometimes some new music, so we got similar taste.
All right.
Yeah.
Ready to start stage 2. Field working into the Echo Park restart zone. It'll be Ross Chastain, the control car in the outside lane with Taylor Gray at his left elbow. Back to green at Dover.
Still struggling just a little bit to get a good launch in that outside lane. Ross has had 3 shots at it today. But you're going to see another Joe Gibbs Racing car right there. Taylor Gray trying to clear him. Not quite off turn 2. Little drag race now. Down into turn 3.
And this is where Ross has the leverage. Right, once again, it's just like the replay at the start of the race. That inside car gets a little loose. He then takes the lead around the outside in 3 and 4. If you're going to start on the outside, you want to try and clear them at 1 and 2. He hasn't been able to do that, but he has all the leverage with that positive momentum down into 3 to be able to take the lead out of 4.
And we talked about that slow stop for Brandon Jones. You see him back in 8th right now, but the guy that had the fastest stop was Corey Day, all the way up to 4th. See what kind of adjustments Adam Wall made to that car. We saw how loose he was at the start of the race. Around the top.
Hey, and you know, we saw this same thing happen last year with another Joe Gibbs car with Taylor Gray. He won the first stage. They had a slow stop in stage 1, buried in traffic. They never really recovered. So important for Jones here to try to pick some off early. They know he's fast. He knows he's fast, but the hardest part now is going to be getting through this traffic and back to the front.
And what did Taylor say last year? He went from having probably the best car on the racetrack to the worst car he'd ever driven because of the dirty air that happens around here. And that's really tough because you made adjustments thinking you'd at least stay in maybe the front 2 rows, and now you're buried in traffic and the car's going to handle completely different than what you probably adjusted for.
Good news is, as we saw in stage 1, track has widened out, so some options in theory for the 20 to try to pick some off here. He's up to 9th.
Fair amount of tire fall off as well. We saw 1.3 seconds over the course of the 45 laps in stage 1. We'll see if that gets better or worse. This run won't be near as long. We've only got 33 laps left in this stage, but that final stage, they're going to have a ways to go, and guys are going to have to balance that out.
Good race for 5th here. Jesse Love on the outside in the 2. William Sawalich in the 18. Both these cars have been in and around the top 5 all day so far.
So we look at Justin Allgaier continuing to try and move
slowly
forward.
Continuing to work his way to the front. It's hard to complete that pass. See, Jones gets that little bit of momentum on the outside. Justin, though, he's really good at running the bottom at all these places. We noted in qualifying earlier, he kind of ran a lower line than a lot. It's just so hard because of the momentum the outside lane has on the exit.
And look what happened to Brandon Jones. Winning the stage to now trying to fend off just to stay in the top 10 with Justin Allgaier and Ryan Sieg. Hot in his heels as Justin got a little loose there, had to back out of it.
4-pack on the left of the screen there is a good race. 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, all right on top of each other.
We think so.
Sawalich has been
caution.
trapped. Yeah, we got a yellow. Sawalich was trapped on the bottom there. Oh, big
Blaine
crash.
Perkins.
Blaine Perkins into the wall hard.
Yeah, this was a really hard hit.
Window net down. You see Blaine moving around in the cockpit.
We'll get another look at this. I wasn't quite sure if he had a little help, maybe from Anthony Alfredo, or if Anthony was trying to.
And then the rear end broke. Broke. I don't know what happened.
Something broke.
I'm all right, though.
Blaine was running 18th at the time of this incident.
Well, this place, and everyone will tell you, it will test the weakest part of your race car.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody, we always see here in Bristol, 2 of the harder places on all the components, the suspension. Here, Blaine reference like something in the rear suspension must have broke and it spun that car around.
Yeah, I caught him as he was going towards the wall, and the 96 was up there.
There's just no light impacts to this place either.
No. And you're going to see also how hard it is to avoid when a car is spinning. So we looking down into 3 here, you see he's already sideways, and look at Anthony Alfredo there, 96. He was chasing it up.
Made it through.
Yeah, and he basically, as Blaine got sideways, Anthony was already committed to the outside lane, and at that point he just couldn't get it to slow down and turn down. As we look back here from Sammy Smith's 8 car, there you see the smoke suddenly start, and then the car goes around. So that's
It's almost like
something
the housing shifted and the tires started rubbing on the body.
Broke, something like in the suspension there.
Under yellow for the 3rd time at Dover, Ross Chastain continues to lead. Well, plenty more racing still to come this weekend at Dover, but next week, if you'll be at Charlotte Motor Speedway, make sure to stop by the CW Sports Bar and North Carolina Education Lottery booths in the fan zone. Powerball is offering the chance to win a VIP trip to NASCAR Championship weekend and other prizes throughout the weekend. Visit the CW Sports Bar or NC Education Lottery ticket booths from May 22nd to 24th. That's Friday to Sunday next week for more information. Still under yellow here at the Monster Mile for a Blaine Perkins incident. Second Jordan Anderson car with issues today. Dip to break and come back with a restart. Ross Chastain, Taylor Gray, and Raja Karuth, the top 3. Welcome back. NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series racing live on the CW from Dover Motor Speedway in Dover, Delaware. Under caution in stage 2 for an incident involving Blaine Perkins. He's been checked and released from the infield care center. Let's check in quickly with Heather DeBow on Justin Allgaier in the 7.
Yeah, we've been trying to document his way making it through the field, starting this race in 13th. But we've got some good radio brought to you by Starkey Communications on the handling of the 7.
Plowing by myself. I unhook as soon as I get to right behind him. And if anybody's on my door, I am 20 out of 10 loose. So I don't know what to do to fix him, and I really don't know.
Definitely handling issues there for Allgaier, Kim.
Heather, let's get a Toyota driver update. Stage 1 winner Brandon Jones now in the 9th position. The complaints minimal during stage 1 out front, but traffic doing no good to the 20 car. Brandon saying, I knew it was going to be bad in traffic, but it's disconnected front to rear. Had no stability riding around the 7. Think it was going to be continuing to trend tight if we went green in the center. And then he also said not much confidence in the lower end of the corner. And when I do have to go, it's too much, too late. So they're battling way more issues in traffic than they were out front in Clean Air.
Clean Air is king. Field back through the Echo Park restart zone. Chastain and Gray control the field once again. Better restart for the inside line.
And Chastain's been able to maintain the lead on sticker tires each time, but last time on the set of scuffs, we saw Brandon Jones able to sneak by, but
Way better that time.
yeah, Ross did a great job through 1 and 2, got a great exit. See Jesse Love pop up, just trying to get some clean air. It's incredible the difference, the balance in these cars. Brandon Jones, a great example. You mentioned Taylor Gray last year, kind of the same thing. Being out front, it's hard to get a good read of what you're going to need back in traffic.
And those reports we got from Heather and Kim on the 20 and the 7 almost sounded identical in that they both were struggling mightily in the dirty air where it makes the car unpredictable. That's typical Dover in a lot of respects, and for the crew chief, almost impossible to fix because you're one thing for clean air, but it's a totally another different thing when you're in traffic in this dirty air, and something that unpredictable isn't usually something the crew chief can fix. You just have to find somewhere else to run on the racetrack.
Taylor Gray and Raja Karuth here racing for 2nd.
Raja having a great run. Yeah, you mentioned him having to bounce back and forth through multiple cars in the season as we ride on board here. The GovX on board with Jesse Love. Mentioned how smooth his wheel looked earlier in the race. We've seen him kind of run up the track, down the track. He's right behind this battle.
Look at that pass. It was beautiful there by Raja Karuth, able to drive by Taylor Gray. I'd say Ross Chastain might have some company here soon. The way that 88 looked, just wrapping the bottom so effectively.
Carson Quapple in another JRM car has been quietly fast, I think, today. Seems like every time we see him, he's on the move, making passes. Up to the 5th spot there as he disposes of Corey Day in the 17.
Yeah, Corey just cannot get the 17 car to work around the bottom. He's kind of forced now to run the top, but it's just not the fastest line when guys are on fresher tires and are able to really run the bottom and use plenty of throttle. That top only comes in as the pace starts to slow down to like a 25-second bracket. They're still running 24:30s right now.
Yeah, that's going to make it really tough today on any sort of restart or short run if you can't run the bottom, if you're so top dependent. To your point, when when we go under caution, it's not even just new tires. It's anytime we pick up all that rubber, the bottom's going to be dominant for 5 or so laps, maybe 10 laps, and he's just going to have to do his best to hang on, but it's really going to impede his progress.
Allgaier trying to hold off Sieg here for 9th. Brandon Jones out back looking on in the neon yellow number 20. Sawalich right there as well, the 18, has slipped back over the last couple laps since this restart.
You always see the struggle for the drivers here is being good on short run. Do you want to be good on the long run? You see Allgaier now going all the way to the top. He's frustrated with his car. He mentioned how tight it was in traffic, and then if anybody got on that right rear quarter panel, exactly how loose he would get. And as he tries to make the bottom work, and then you get side by side on especially the exit of turn 2 here, you get loose anyway, but if your balance is free in that position, it just magnifies it so much.
So we remarked on Andrew Overstreet standing before the start of the race. I thought that was maybe a start of the race thing. Nope, it's already in the stage 2 here. We've got him still standing. It's hard for our team here to font him, because you think it's maybe those two on the left. Those are his engineers. Andrew is the man standing in the background, just watching his race car go around and trying to come up with a plan of how he can hopefully help Justin, his driver, find some speed in that car.
Great look there at the O'Reilly pit crew view of the 7 team. Watching their driver try to march forward here. Still in that 9th spot as he searches for grip around this racetrack. Raja Caruth has pulled away a little bit from Taylor Gray there in that 2nd spot, but everybody's still chasing the 9 of Ross Chastain.
And look at the line difference, though. You know, Parker and I would agree on this. If you had to pick a car, you would take the one that's running around the bottom right now. Raja being disciplined, able to run right on the bottom of the racetrack. That's where everybody would like to run. You know, Ross would like to be down there, but just can't find the speed. But Raja right now about a 10th quicker than the 9. So Ross is going to have to move around, see if he can find a little bit of lap time.
Yeah, Raja was the quickest car on the racetrack last lap, and this is what I saw when he went by Taylor Gray. It was so calm on the bottom, was able to rotate so well, and just wraps that bottom so well as he goes directly to the top, refuting everything I've said to test it out, of course. But I think that shows the versatility possibly that he has. That's the other way a commentator can spin that for themselves. But look, they're back to the bottom. That's the thing, though. If you are able to wrap that bottom late into a run, that is really powerful.
Carson Kvapil, Jesse Love racing for 4th. And as we watch these battles in the top 5, it's time to go full throttle with Sound Gear. Wherever sound is a problem, Sound Gear has the solution. Scan the QR code to learn more at soundgear.com. Laps go by in a hurry. 10 to go already in stage 2. Our thanks to Sound Gear for going full throttle. Great opportunity to watch and observe how these drivers are managing this racetrack. Raja's closed in a little bit on the 9 of Chastain. Gap still just under a half second.
He was almost 2/10 faster than him in that last lap. So getting real close to him quickly here. This is one thing to catch him at this racetrack. It's another thing to pass, and I know that's cliche, but Jamie referenced it earlier. It is incredibly hard to pass here at times. You have to get positive leverage on the car ahead of you, and that's so tough to do, especially if you are in the position that Raja is, where his car looks better on the bottom. When he gets beside Ross, that will put a lot of leverage in Ross's hands.
There's some lap traffic for them to navigate as well, as we get a look at Brent Cruz trying to march forward from that early wall contact, and Sammy Smith, who has rode around the 15th spot for most of the afternoon.
Yeah, Brent's going to be able to salvage a really decent day based on, you know, we almost thought he might be done. The damage we saw, not just on the right rear, you see all the tape they've put on that kind of hold it together, but also the right front. There, you know, could be some suspension damage to the right front of that car, but 19's a nice job. You see him slide in there and drive all the way up the racetrack, just trying to clear Sammy Smith.
How do you feel if you're Sammy and you see that car drive by
so
you?
deflating.
That's
so
not
deflating.
a good feeling.
Yeah.
You're like, wait a second, that car's wrecked.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's been a quiet day for the 8 team. Been outside of the top 10. Here's the race for the lead, coming to 5 to go in stage 2. Chastain has led the entire distance in this second stage, but Caruth is keeping him honest.
Well, and Raja's moving around right now, trying to figure out, as Parker referenced, if the car in front of you is running the bottom and you can get to their outside, pass is pretty easy because you have the momentum down the straightaway. But the fact that Ross is just running a different line every lap right now, so that Raja has to take a little bit of a guess here, tries to put him in a bad position or not get in a good position.
And that is classic Ross Chastain. He is one of the best at aero blocking in all of NASCAR. I've raced against him many times where he seems almost superhuman in his ability to change his line at the last second to trick you into going to a place where he covers you in a way that you think, that was annoying. How did he do that? So he's so good at this. This is going to be a really tough pass for Raja, but he's definitely got the speed.
Well, and what a great opportunity for Raja to learn from a Cup Series race winner as well. And all of those things that you just mentioned that Ross does so well. Great chance for Raja to learn and try some things as he continues to get his feet wet. First full season in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, and he is right there on Chastain as we come to 2 to go in stage 2.
Yeah, the lap play a big role in this. Ross is going to have the momentum on the exit. Ross actually ran low off turn 2 last time, and that's what killed all of his momentum. You see Raja is going to run the top here. He's going to have a big run now because Ross is going to have to check up just a little bit for this lap car on the exit. We'll see what the 88 can have here down into turn 3.
Blake Lothian and Dawson Cram, the 2 cars going a lap down, creates some separation between the top 2. But Carruth closes back in again. Final lap in stage 2.
Ross did a nice job being able to clear both of those lap cars. I thought that was going to play into Raj's hand, but Ross is able to pass one on the top and one on the bottom and actually built a little bit of a gap.
Some of that Cup experience right there of having to deal with traffic so effectively and so quickly, allowing him to get away from Raja.
Most laps led in his career at Dover for Chastain, and he'll cap it off with a stage 2 victory. 11th stage win in his O'Reilly Auto Parts Series career, and 2nd here at the Monster Mile. Raja Carruth, Taylor Gray, Jesse Love, Sam Mayer, Carson Quapple, Corey Day, Justin Allgaier, William Sawalich, and Ryan Sieg, all scoring stage points in stage 2. More pit stops and great racing from the Monster Mile coming up. fastest growing network in all of television is News Nation. News Nation respects all Americans and is news for all Americans. To find News Nation on your screen, go to newsnationnow.com. As we head into the final stage, it's the perfect time to slow things down with Arby's new slow smoked barbecue. While it's all about speed on the track, Arby's is doing barbecue the opposite way. Smoked low, slow, and worth the wait. The Arby's barbecue sandwich comes loaded with pulled pork or chopped brisket, paired with your choice of sweet or spicy barbecue. Scan the QR code to order now in the Arby's app.
I think they should just put the whole menu in the car.
I tell you what,
They've got everything they're trying to.
The timing of these reads is not good for me. I'm hungry.
I'm interested in that barbecue quarter mac and cheese bowl that was on the right side of the seat.
You think he looks at those sometimes? He goes, I'm hungry.
That looks. Oh, there it is right there. Quarter-pound barbecue mac bowl.
Oh.
You are hungry.
Wow.
Here's a look at stage point scorers. Taylor Gray and Raja Caruth leading the rest of the field. Sam Mayer having a good day. And Brandon Jones, we talked about him, won stage 1. Lost all that track position on pit road, finished 11th in stage 2, so he did not score points in the second stage.
But a really, really big day for Raja Caruth there with those stage points in this 88 car. He's been in the 32 for the last couple of races, fell out of the chase last week. Right as we run currently, he would be back in the chase. Huge for him to make the most of being this 88.
And he's in the 88 next week at Charlotte as well, so you're right, Parker. 2 good opportunities for him to capitalize on the speed in that race car. Progressive pit road is open, and here they all come. We start with Kim Kuhn.
And leader Ross Chastain having the same complaint as stage 1, said, lost my turn, back to being the same tight as earlier. You see him at the top of the screen. Crew chief Philip Bell saying they'll take another swing at it. And Heather, this was the same condition they were battling in practice yesterday. 3 different times they tried to free him up yesterday, tried to take a big swing at today, and he is still battling that. You saw the chassis adjustment.
And Taylor Gray battling, firing off snug and on the splitter. He said it built tight on exit as the run went, but he also said he can't be any freer in the rear. He's at his limit there, so a slight adjustment for the 54. Also in Raja Caruth, his crew chief reminded him, get into the box better than the last pit stop. He said, as far as feedback for the car, pretty good, snug late, so wants to be free up at the end of the run.
Progressive race off pit road. Good stop from the 2 boys. Jesse Love, +3. And that gets him the race lead. Ross Chastain lost 2. And here it is. Jesse Love, the new control car and race leader at Dover.
Closed captioning for today's race is brought to you by Cerakote. The top detailers in the world trust Cerakote. Carl Lamette's hanging out with you in the CW garage. Now at Dover, it's not really where you start, it's where you finish. Only one of the last 19 Dover races were won by the driver on the pole, but don't count Ross Chastain out just yet. That might not be the worst omen because get this, stage 2 winners went on to win 6 of the last 12 Dover races. So we'll see if the 9 and Ross Chastain can continue their dominance today, Dylan.
Ross has been trying for a long time to get a win for Junior Motorsports. Jesse Love is going to bring us back to the green. This Better Hearing Month, and Starkey can help you hear your best. Scan the QR code to take a short free online hearing test at starkey.com. Now let's listen in to the 2 team and some Starkey radio communication.
They've got to be the best pit crew in the series for sure. Great job. Good job, guys. You call putting them on the dash right there, boys. Heck of a job.
There is nobody like Danny Stockman. Hey,
Danny downforce.
Want to give credit to the 20 team. We talked about that bad stop in stage 1. They responded with the fastest stop of the day to get their driver back into the top 10 to start this final stage. So the 20 team doing what the 20 team does there on pit road, and the 2 team doing their job as well to get their driver the lead.
Big restart here for Jesse Love. First time up on the front row there. On the outside, we've seen Ross struggle to get the launch, so let's see how Jesse rises to the occasion.
Final stage here at Dover, 101 laps to go as the field hits the Echo Park restart zone. It's Jesse Love and Raja Karuth on the front row as we go back to green.
I think Jesse did a nice job right there, almost getting a little push from Chastain, who's behind him. We've seen the 88, though, be so good on the bottom. It's just all about how loose do they get down into turn 3. Raja have to really discipline himself getting down into this corner.
There it goes.
No!
Oh.
2 leaders together. Love in the wall. Karuth saves it, but some right side damage.
It's happened on every restart. Raja just got a little looser than those other guys. You just got to be so disciplined knowing that car's on your outside. Jesse Love, I'm sure, is furious. He gave him a little bit of room.
Marty Lindley there, the crew chief of the 88. Obviously upset about what happened there, and I think, you know, we've seen it, as you mentioned, every restart, you're on lower air pressure. That car on the outside has so much leverage to take the air off the right side of your race car. Already that car on the inside is compromised in the angle they're entering the corner. There's a lot of washboard bumps down there, and we've seen every time the inside car get loose. For Raja, it got very loose. Both these drivers knowing this is an important restart. As we look back, he had positive momentum by side drafting, but as he gets down the corner, Jesse was giving him space.
Gave him plenty of room on entry for sure.
You could see there as he starts to hit those bumps right at the basically end of the entry, that big hop in the rear, that takes the rear out of the racetrack, and he starts chasing it up into the 2 car.
Raja really doesn't have any damage right here. I mean, other than sliding those tires, but the 2 of Jesse Love, as we're going to ride on board with him, he's just along for the ride. He gave Raja plenty of room on the bottom, knowing that he was most likely going to get loose. You can see Marty Lindley trying to pull some hair out right there, frustrated.
Under yellow once again here at Dover. The 2 leaders racing hard come together in turn 3. NASCAR on the CW is brought to you by Golden Corral. Golden Corral honors our nation's heroes. Progressive Insurance. Get in the savings lane today. Visit progressive.com. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Drama at the front of the field with 97 to go. The race leaders get together, and here's what the two-team thought about that contact.
Yeah, she's pretty up. Got Rajat up. Just figured out how to fix it. We'll be pissed off later. Yeah.
Not the first time these two have had issues this year, you remember. Let's get the other side of the coin and the thoughts from Raja Caruth and his team.
Didn't think he'd sit on my door like that. Doing it for 4 years, brother. Side, or was he just sitting on my door? Obviously, I drove in too hard, but I just didn't think he'd be sitting on me like that, honestly. Yeah, it wasn't much space at all for me. A foot when you guys landed, so no space really.
Yeah, I think the two gave him enough room.
Plenty of room.
Yeah, Raja just overdrove the corner and slid up, and when he got so high, he got loose underneath him. Like you can't place blame on the two car in that situation.
Yeah, and you mentioned these two have a bit of history. This is the second time we've seen them have a run-in. This was Martinsville earlier this year. They had multiple run-ins this race. There's one running into the other. Now the 88 running into the two, and then eventually the 88's going to go for a bit of a ride to finish the race. They end up talking to each other afterwards, which went on for a while. They said it was squash, but why do you push so hard this early in the race? Well, less than 100 laps to go. Short race, getting control was so important. You saw that from those two drivers there into 3.
Back to green, field through the Echo Park restart zone. It's Ross Chastain and William Sawalich now at the front of the field.
Ross has done a great job on the outside. You got to know these guys understand exactly what happened. You see Ross gets a big run down the backstretch. Sawalich is able to get back in line. That car on the inside, though, for all these guys, super loose on the entry to turn 3. Look at 18 getting back inside of him right here.
Feeling racy, dialing up the inside lane. Looking to the inside for the race lead.
He's got it. Wow, Ross had to go way up the racetrack. Williams able to run right around the bottom of the track. Great job by the 18 to get to the lead.
Strong move, Sawalich to the point. Brandon Jones, Carson Quapple racing here for position.
You gotta wonder if the balance was just way off on Ross. Did he not get his tires clean? It looked like he did a nice job through 1 and 2 on the initial start, but man, just could not hold the bottom where he wanted to be a lap later.
And he's in danger of maybe losing the second spot. Taylor Gray has closed in on that battle for position.
Not firing off the way he was earlier in this race. Don't know if it's just lack of adjustments or what, but definitely looks more vulnerable than we saw earlier when he was able to get to the lead and sort of get away.
Yeah, and William getting to the lead, we've seen how important that is. You mentioned why Raja was racing so hard. I mean, he's over a 1/10 of a second quicker than those guys behind him. Just ran the fastest lap of the race for William.
And these are the first laps that he's led here at Dover. Race here for 4th, Corey Day and Sam Mayer.
Corey Day has fought that car all day long. Every time we look up, it looks like it's out of control. He's been having to run a little higher than most. Still in great position, though.
Yeah, this is about as far forward, I think, as he's been since the start of the day.
The left side of that car you'd think might be beat up. He's had a car on the inside of him almost 90% of this race.
See the 7 car of Allgaier right behind him. His highest running position all day long as well. 7. Ooh, Corey Day on the straightaway almost like he got into the wall. You see him fighting to get back to the bottom.
Allgaier starting to come to life. Raja Caruth involved in another incident, this time with Harrison Burton.
Your brake, hold your brake, hold your brake.
Under caution for the 6th time.
Oh, and Harrison gets in the inside wall.
I don't think the 88 has any damage again.
Might have gotten away with it, but it's got to get refired here. I think this started with
flat right side for sure. A little bit of right side
three
here, but not bad.
wide.
Get spot here we can.
Marty Lindley, the crew chief, and tough break for Harrison Burton, who qualified well, was having a good day. We see Sammy Smith as well. He may have gotten a piece of it in the 8.
Well, I think he might have been
the instigator.
Was, causing us to be 3 wide. So they went off into 3.
Everybody able to drive away from the scene. Here's Harrison Burton.
Well, he gets loose. See, Raja gets to his inside, and then behind you see Sammy Smith trying to capitalize on that run and just got Raja up out of the groove a little bit, and then he was just trying to catch it for the rest of the way around the corner, and poor Harrison Burton was just innocent victim in all that.
It's really 3 cars to 1. I know it looks similar to what happened to Raja with Jesse Love, but in this case there, with the 8 getting there so late, Raja couldn't turn down, so then he's in a compromised aero position.
Well, you get spooked too, right? You can't yank on the wheel.
When he's in the compromised aero position against the 24, he's just trying to catch at that point going up the racetrack.
This will be a great perspective as we ride on board with Sammy Smith. See Harris have to check up. That lets the 88 check up. He gets in there and then thinks better of it. You know, I can't force it 3 wide, but it just put the 88 in such a bad angle, bad position. You get spooked, you kind of pull on the wheel, then you're just along for the ride.
And what gave the 8 the run is you saw the 24 had to check up, but the 88, you saw the flames out the exhaust pipes on the right side as he got to the 24. He checked up a little bit, which gave Sammy Smith such a monster run that he went to the inside.
Things happening so fast here at Dover. Anthony Alfredo will be the free pass car. Under this yellow, Raja Caruth and Harrison Burton getting together. In honor of Military Appreciation Month, GovX is proud to support those who serve our community, country, and country. If you have a military or first responder background, scan the QR code now for unbeatable deals on thousands of top brands. GovX, savings for those who serve. Jesse Love with the GovX on board, back on pit road to continue to patch up the damage on that 2 from contact with this car, Raja Caruth, who has been involved in the last 2 yellows. As we look at our golden moment brought to you by Golden Corral, it has been a troublesome last 10 to 15 laps or so for Raja.
Did a great job in stage 2. Was really competitive, but then got this restart on the front row, got loose underneath Jesse Love, and then this, trying to come back to the field. Just awkward positioning there with Sammy Smith getting a run to the inside. Awkward aero position underneath Harrison Burton, and just loses the race car into 3. Different circumstances for sure between the two, although they look similar. Pretty similar results in the end.
And while we're talking about Raja, let's take a look at his Race Fit Health Report, brought to you by Brezstreet.
20 consecutive
I tell you what,
That's impressive.
kudos to him.
That's impressive.
No one in this booth can do that.
Nope.
For sure.
Nope.
Not even a little bit.
I got to figure out what pistol squats are as well.
They're not fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was some discussion during the break about pit stops and teams right on the edge of the fuel window, we think, and the only leader that pitted was Justin Allgaier. So let's check in with Heather for more on what the 7 teams game is here.
And Dylan, their discussion was that they may see everyone pit because it's so hard to pass. But listen to this communication brought to you by Starkey on why they also pitted there.
It's not even a vibration, it's just a change in balance, and I'm getting a brake pedal kickback whenever I get to the corner.
Right now, I think we got to come down and put gas in it and make sure everything's tight.
Copy.
Well, most likely that's a brake issue. The rotor's pushing the pads back is where you get that little bit of vibration and a long pedal. But they came down just to make sure all the wheels are tight. They'll go around and look at it, get it full of gas. If it goes green, he might be in a great position.
Andrew sat down now, ready to watch his driver go to work here. We go back to green with 83 to go. Sawalich and Chastain the front row, and Ross getting swarmed right away here for the second spot.
And an aggressive move by Corey Data there, trying to go 3 wide. The inside of Sam Mayer didn't quite work out as he falls back behind Carson Quapple, but really aggressive move.
Look at Taylor Gray on the inside. Ross, he's loose again. Ross has struggled on the restarts. He lost the lead to Sawalich last time. He's barely hanging on right there. Taylor Gray back to his inside through 1 and 2.
Ross just watched the 88 and 2 get together in this exact same scenario to think it's got him alert of what the 54 is doing and where he's at on his door.
Yeah, and he's given Taylor plenty of room. Taylor didn't drive in there quite as deep this time.
Contact for second, and around goes the 54 hard into the inside wall. Caution for the 7th time.
Boy, you got to wonder for the 7 here, though. Does that, if you filled it full of fuel, how close are you now? You might get to have all that track position back.
Be honest, I did not expect the 54 to get the worst into that deal. The way it looked coming off the corner there.
He wrecked himself trying to stay off of Ross, and this racetrack, the way that the banking falls out on the exit of the corner, gets so narrow as well off of turn 4. It's almost like once you start having that contact, you just get glued together. As we see, this is going down into turn 3. Get that to play. See, Ross gives him plenty of room. Then Ross a little slow getting back to the throttle. Taylor gets back to his inside. Little narrow exit for the 9, but I think it was really the contact from Sam Mayer into the 54 that spun him around. I think they all would have most likely caught it right there. Watch Mayer behind these guys as they start to check up. I think that's ultimately what sent the 54 around.
And what started pushing the 9 so sideways wasn't even contact. It was packing that air in the left rear right there, and then eventually touches, and Ross does an incredible job holding on to it and saving it right there. But wow, 54 had no chance once, as you mentioned, Sam Mayer got in the back of him.
The 9 did get some right rear damage there. You see this wall contact. It doesn't even really look like the 54 and 9 touch, just as you said. Enough air packed on the left rear to send the 9 into the wall.
I can't believe Ross saved that.
That was amazing. A great save.
And that is what drivers love about this car. You can affect the car ahead of you with utilizing air, which makes it able to pass. But the downside of that is at times it can cause an issue that you weren't intending to cause just by being too close to them.
Kim, you have an update on the 9?
Yeah, enough damage on the 9 to send some additional crew members over the wall with Bear Bond. Go back over to the right rear. You see that crew member back there fixing that damage. So obvious, and he's got a hammer out there
I
too.
don't know about the
He'll send
hammer.
the bear bond over here in a second. The mallet just taking it to that car. Now you see the bear bond. That deck lid obviously needs to go down before they can go back green on the Ross Chastain machine.
They've got the heavy artillery over there on the 54. The power tools coming out to try to cut away that right front.
I think I'd let that guy have the hammer. I gotta take the hammer away from him.
Hey, the beneficiary of this yellow is going to be Raja Caruth. He'll get the free pass and get back on the lead lap. Pit road is open here. This is a little bit more comfortable to make it to the end on fuel, and everybody going to hit pit road here for what will be their expected final stops of the day. We head to Progressive Pit Road and Kim.
Yeah, as this does make a long run on tires. You see Carson Quapple there, top of your screen, that chassis adjustment. Super free entering the corner, he said, but tight on exit. William Sawalich also in. He had some troubles firing off earlier in the race, but otherwise, most recently, he said fire off is great. Heather?
And Sam Mayer's comments after that incident was, it all happened so fast, I wasn't quite sure how that went down, but he said he's still happy with the balance of that race car. They're going to do 4 Goodyear tires at Sunoco Fuel here for Sam Mayer.
Progressive race off pit road. The 18 going to win that easily. Brendan Poole and Anthony Alfredo, Staropoli as well, trying some different things here.
Whoa, we got one loose.
Somebody's going to get a penalty.
What about this guy?
Yeah.
This is
If you're Andrew Overstreet, you got to feel pretty good.
That's why he sat down. He's like, I know what I'm doing.
All guy are going to be in a great spot here when we go back to green. Under yellow for this incident with Ross Chastain and Taylor Gray. Banana Ball is live tonight on the CW following our coverage. You don't want to miss it. Watch as the Savannah Bananas take on the Loca Beach Coconuts in the wildest, most jaw-dropping sports entertainment spectacle to ever hit your screen. It's all happening live tonight, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, right here on the CW.
And this restart is about to be bananas, most likely, with the lineup we have here. Austin Green on the outside. The yellow car is your leader, Andrew Patterson. in the 32 on the bottom.
I don't like Allgaier's position because Green has fairly old tires on. I don't know what that
There's a mix of
is going to
tires
be
up
like.
here.
Yeah.
And strategies.
Yeah, Patterson pitted 10 laps ago. So he's got a little better tires than the 87 and Green does. They both fire off okay.
Great job on the outside. Got rolling. Austin Green did.
Look at Corey Day there, 3 wide around the outside.
Green is clear of Patterson.
It's a great perspective. Look at Allgaier get to the outside right there. Wow.
There's the difference in new tires for the 7.
Team, he'll build just a little bit of a buffer from some of these guys. You see the 18, William Sawalich, and then the 17 of Corey Day on the.
He's ready to go.
Yeah, different strategy right there, but track's just blocked. These guys can't make that position up. Allgaier's going to build up a 1 or 2 second lead by the time they can get to some clean air.
Both of the same Hunt cars there in that outside lane, Harrison Burton and Dean Thompson. Sawalich trying to carve his way through the slower traffic as Quapple looks inside 3 wide there for a moment on Jones, and Andrew Patterson, who's dropping back on those older tires.
Corey Day with a massive run on the outside. Now going to get, got another spinner. Garrett Smithley's around.
Caution for the 8th time today. Garrett making his 300th NASCAR National Series start today. Doesn't look like too much damage.
This is not what Allgaier wanted. He had that little bit of a gap, had the track position. Now he's going to be vulnerable.
Contact with the rear square. I'll look at it when you get back through here.
Garrett was 24th at the time of this yellow.
But I think for Justin Allgaier and Harrison Burton, if there was any fuel concerns, another caution most likely here.
Yeah. Hurts you on one aspect of the track, like the other guys being able to catch back up, but we're standing up again.
Yeah. Now we know how intense it is.
We might be closer on fuel than we're thinking right now.
But I do believe this caution should help them in that regard. And, considering how well that restart went, yes, it puts Sawalich and Day a little bit closer, who maybe have been a little faster today, but I think I'd take the front row.
But we've seen so many guys that lead this race and then fall back to 5th, 6th, 7th, and their car drive's terrible.
Yep.
We don't really know what Justin has. I'd love to hear what he thought about those last couple of laps, having clean air, of how different the balance was for the 7 car out front.
Sawalich has done a nice job too on the restarts all day today. Has been smart but aggressive, and did so again there to take advantage of those fresh tires. Got through some of those cars on older tires, and now has put himself in a great spot to contend with Allgaier at the front of the field. And still going to be mixed up at the front of the field with those older tires. Here's a look at Garrett Smithley, already spun around there at the top of the screen.
Yeah, hard to tell exactly how he ended up in that position.
Hopefully that was not SS Greenlight on SS Greenlight there with the 0 in the 07. He was the other car there in the mix. All right, Heather, we've seen Andrew Overstreet standing and sitting, and he's back on his feet again. How's he feeling down there?
Yeah, we're going to check in with Andrew right now. The booth wants to know, they've seen you standing, kind of pacing around. How are your nerves right now?
It's pretty good. When you got Justin Allgaier up there, feel pretty good anytime you're up front. So we had to do something different to try to get us some track position, and we're in a good spot fuel-wise, so just see if we can hold it off the rest of the way.
Now, you told me you have bullet points on the whiteboard in your office. What's the one for this weekend that you said?
Well, we knew that this is getting ready for some really good Justin Allgaier tracks, so I told him these are Gator tracks, and it's feeding time.
Good luck.
Thank you.
He really leans into the whole Gator thing.
He does.
Andrew. It's good to see.
This is a good stretch for the 7 team. Go to Charlotte next week. Nashville, another concrete track.
Where's the bad stretch for the 7 team?
I mean, I think that's, it's a fair point, right?
He's so good at every racetrack. He's been around so long. It's just feel like maybe the road course, but he's won on road courses as well. Like, this guy's good everywhere, man.
Austin Green shuffled back to 4th on that restart, but doing a nice job hanging at the front of the field right now, Kim.
That's right, Dylan, and has the oldest tires, but he does have a fresh set of stickers in the pit. So what was the thinking during this most recent caution we're under right now? Take a listen to in-car radio, courtesy of Starkey.
Yeah, the plan here is get a big enough delta on the tires to when you put stickers on, and if we get a late caution, you're jacked up air, and everybody else is struggling to hold on, you know what I mean?
So before they had told Austin that, he had been complaining, guys, it's just so hard to pass here. I'm worried about when we take that final set, the number of cars I'm going to pass. And you heard Trey Poole, the spotter there, trying to reassure him that the plan is going to be stay out. And then when we get a later caution come in, crew chief Jody Mismer saying, again, I think with the number of cautions we've already had during this stage, we're going to see plenty more before the end of this race.
Yeah, and with many yellows, maybe it minimizes the positions lost, and you can just go for a net gain, which he was running 25th to 30th in that range. So if you pull it off and you gain 5-10 spots, it's a good day.
Now here's the real risk. Most likely can't make it on fuel right here. So they are dependent on that caution coming out just to get to the end of this race. But if you're running 25th to 30th, take the risk, see if you can make something happen. You'd historically do this at high wear tracks. This wouldn't be one of those where I feel like you're just going to vault past 10 or 20 cars. It's not going to look like that, but maybe you pick up a few positions.
Well, based on what's happened in the first portion of this race, we've only went 28 laps green, so they have pretty good odds of getting a couple more cautions. Yeah.
The Monster's angry today. Reached out and grabbed a few of these guys. 8 cautions for 48 laps this afternoon. We'll come back to green with 68 to go.
Really impressed with Harrison Burton. He got in that spin earlier, hit the inside wall. I'm scared that might really damage the nose, but salvaging a great day right here for Sam Hunt Racing.
Dean Thompson 6th in the other SHR car as well, so both of them having a much-needed good day. Back to green with 68 to go.
Dude, Justin's been so good on the outside right there. You see both he and William Sawalich going to be able to clear Harrison Burton. Corey Day getting right there to the quarter panel.
That got so close right there. Harrison was coming up the track, and Corey was trying to fill that gap.
And we're going to find out now what the 7 car has. He's been kind of back in traffic. Andrew has got him out front now. He's got one of the fastest cars all day long of Sawalich right behind him.
3 wide here as Austin Green tries to find a clear lane to run in. And Brent Cruz with that damaged right rear quarter panel is on the charge. He's up to 8.
Bottom of 2.
That's incredible as well. The damage that Brent Cruz had from earlier in this race, that right rear quarter panel. We talked about how much aero matters around here, how much you need side force. He has a compromised right rear quarter panel and is driving through the field as Austin Green is falling backwards on those older tires.
Race for third.
Yeah, getting by Harrison Burton right here. Day's like, I finally got somebody on the inside. I've had her the top the whole day long. Made good adjustments to the 17. That's right.
Harrison going to try the middle to high lane there, that diamond line that we've seen. He's got about 10 laps older tires than the rest of these front runners do. They're doing a nice job to hang inside the top 5. Austin Green, their plan has started to fall apart here. He's back to 16th in that 87. Same Mayer and Brandon Jones racing for 5th. Carson Quapple and Brent Cruz racing for 8th.
Carson able to run that low line. Mentioned Brent Cruz having that damage. Look at this chaos. You see these guys 3 wide. Brent Cruz already has that damage on the right rear. He doesn't mind about using it up a little bit more here. But with Austin Green being on the outside, they know he's weak right now because he's on the older tires, hasn't had the speed all day. Guys just will not be patient with that, knowing that they've stayed out on older tires.
Eventful day for the 19. See that dip at the beginning of the day. Early contact with the outside wall in turn 2, but it has been all up since then.
That's a great recovery for Brent Cruz and that team. You know, got that damage, really no fault of his own. It was Ryan Seed getting loose underneath him earlier in the race, and then just has methodically worked his way forward.
Harrison Burton running 4th, Sam Mayer in 5th. We talked about the need for a good run for the 24. Sam Mayer, another team, just looking for some consistency. Been an up and down season for them, a lot of bad luck, a lot of speed. And this is the kind of performance that we've come to expect from Mayer. Nice to see them putting a good day together.
Watch how disciplined the 17 is on entry running the bottom. You'll see the 24 be able to drive in quite a bit deeper than him. Saw it more in turn 3, but Corey really backing up the entry. See, keeping that left front as low as he can, and almost looks like the 24 of Burton with Mayer inside of him, that they both have found a little speed. Corey being in front, I thought he was going to be able to drive away. You see fire come out of the pipes where he had to check up right there.
Great aerial look here from the Lucas Oil helicopter. This race 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
17 fired off way better on this run, but it almost looks like he's struggling now to keep the speed up. They've got that car where he can run the bottom, but it just doesn't have the pace that he did earlier in the race.
And about 3 seconds behind the leader, Justin Allgaier. Just, yeah, for whatever reason, looks a little bit sluggish compared to what we've seen. Eventually, maybe just hoping for the top side to come in, where he's been so successful for a lot of this race, but definitely holding up the 41 of Sam Mayer right here. You can see that you get a train of cars behind you. That is the indication you are the roadblock at this time.
Yeah, the top 2 have driven away from this group of 3 or 4 cars, all racing for 3rd. It's time to go full throttle with Sound Gear. Wherever sound is a problem, Sound Gear has the solution. Scan the QR code to learn more at soundgear.com. Corey Day racing hard for that 3rd spot. It's been dicey over there when you're side by side through 3 and 4, but Mayer going to make the outside work.
I think how fast he was behind him, he might vault away from Corey Day. How the speed he had in the dirty air there, now a lot cleaner air in front of the 41 of Sam Mayer. Look at clean track ahead all the way up to Sawalich and Allgaier. 4 seconds behind Justin Allgaier at this time, so lost a lot of time behind Corey Day.
Well, and speaking of Sawalich, who's in 2nd right now, I've been watching lap times. He's got a really fast car. He's about a 2nd behind Justin Allgaier, but kind of matching times. I think the 18 is one of those. He gets some clean air. He's going to be the car to beat today.
Yeah, but who was the fastest race car on the track that lap?
Mayer the last time by, yeah.
2/10.
Finally got some clean air, yeah. The 41, super quick right there.
Great day going for Sawalich, who, when we talk about the chase standings, he came in here 13th. He was 17 below the line. This has been a really solid day for them, points-wise, and just trying to finish the deal here with a nice run.
Well, Parker just mentioned it, and I felt like the 18 might be the best car, but Sam Mayer, again, 2/10 quicker, but he's got a big gap to make up. It's 3.5 seconds behind Allgaier, 2.5 seconds behind the 18 right there of William Sawalich, but continuing to run really impressive lap times. 2/10 at Dover is a ton.
It was 2/10 again.
Yeah.
That last lap. He's cut this deficit massively just in a few laps here towards the 7. Now he will have the 18 to deal with before he gets to the 7, which could be an impediment, but absolutely flying for Sam Mayer in that 41 car.
Well, look at the gap that he's built on Corey Day. Finally looks normal here, slowed down to 24.80, a similar lap time to what the leaders have been running, and they've been having to deal with a little bit of lap traffic as we watch them. You see going by Taylor Gray again right here. This was really close a little bit ago with Corey Day, and Sam, I mean, just barely able to fit through there.
Little side draft on to the extreme. That's the biggest fear there, is just cutting down that left rear tire.
Carson Quapple and Harrison Burton racing for 6th. Harrison and Dean Thompson, as we mentioned, both SHR cars in the top 10. Little moment there for the 24 off turn 2. Quapple has to fall back in line.
Harrison's still doing a great job holding on, even though, as you mentioned, a little bit different tires right here, maybe a little bit of damage from a wreck earlier, but still awesome job holding on right here. Got a good car today.
There's Taylor Gray, who was in the mix, but had that contact with Ross Chastain. Wounded 54 car, going a lap down. Another lap down. He is 4 down currently. Well, let's listen in on the 41 team. Got by Corey Day. They run 3rd right now and trying to track down the top 2.
I can't believe how fast it is with a hole in the nose.
I was wondering if it might help us.
Yeah, I said that as well. It's probably cool in the left front tire.
Yeah, so you can see they've got a little bit of damage, like right in the center of the nose there. So hit something on the racetrack.
Yeah, the left front.
Well, that
punctured in.
Yeah, it's the damage probably from where he got into the back of Taylor Gray. We saw them all check up. That accordion effect poked a hole in the nose.
He was the fastest car on the racetrack once again that last lap.
Yeah, look at that right there on the left. You see that comparison of these lap times they've run. You see that final lap about a 10th quicker, and some of that's dependent on traffic and who you're around on the racetrack, but consistently each time we look at timing and scoring, the 41 of Sam Mayer is the fastest car on the track.
Gap down to 3 seconds behind Allgaier. And just 2 seconds now behind Sawalich. You can see it, that the gap is closing.
Yeah, the one thing about Dover too, though, is you see Allgaier catching more lap traffic right here. You can get held up a half second easy here in one lap if you time out that wrong, or if they run a different line than what you thought they were going to run on entry. So 3 seconds sounds like a lot, but it can be made up as Mayer once again runs about a 10th quicker than the leader.
And Justin's about a half a straightaway from running into a large amount of traffic. So as this continues under green, 46 laps to go, is a ton of time around this racetrack. He is definitely going to hit a huge amount of traffic at the end of this front straightaway as he gets up there. So that's going to only help Sam Mayer if Justin's able to get held up.
Yeah, that's Josh Balicki, who's straight ahead here in the 07, but after that, this group right here, yes,
look at that.
That may pose a problem for the race leader.
And he's having a hard time getting by Balicki right here. The bottom is not where he wants to be. His car's running a little better higher on the racetrack, has the momentum on the exit. We'll see his lap time right here. How much does he slow down? Yeah, that was about 3.5 or 4/10 slower than what he ran the lap before. And as you look at that lap time difference back to Sam Mayer, it's down to 2.5 seconds now. So Mayer catching him quick.
Working closer to 40 to go for Allgaier and Sawalich, the top two.
The one thing Mayer has in his favor, guys, is he can run the bottom. You know, where we talk about Justin wanting to run a little higher, and I also feel like the 18 does a nice job of rolling around the bottom of the racetrack, but the 41 kind of run that middle to the bottom, and it gets you through traffic quicker because almost all this lap traffic is giving the leaders the bottom.
And that's the key for Sam Mayer. He's got to be super efficient through traffic, more efficient than the leaders. We talk about it all the time. The leaders going to have the hardest time potentially to make it through traffic because some of those drivers want to stay on the lead lap. They'll fight him, but the second he gets by, then they sort of let second and third back through a lot easier. But really, Sam Mayer just has to be as efficient as he possibly can and not give up any time in traffic.
Great look at the gap there between the top two. Closed captioning for today's race brought to you by Cerakote, the top detailers in the world. Trust Cerakote, shouldn't you? And the top three, all with some clean racetrack to try to at least close that gap. And we go under yellow once again. It's Garrett Smithley for the second time today.
The rear of that race car is completely peeled off.
He had some damage from that first incident.
Working the bottom on the flat.
Contributed to this.
Yeah, he's blown a right rear tire out. You see it's just blowing all the bodywork off as that tire just disintegrates.
Gathered up here. We'll get back in here. We got to get tires on and see what we got to get cleaned off that thing.
Well, Sam Mayer is loving this. This also maybe works into, we'll see how this works out for Austin Green. You know, he's going to have that set of stickers. And to me, you wanted more than 15 or 20 laps to get to have the advantage of the tires. He's going to have, what, 35, 37 laps to go. We go back green, so no pun intended. That's going to be good for Austin Green.
He had fallen to 23rd, so it was even still a net gain in terms of his average running position. So this definitely could play in their hands in that sense.
Yeah, and he'll have those new tires, so able to maybe pick some more off here with 39 to go this time by.
It's been a day for short run speed.
It
the
has.
Longest green flag run being 28 laps. That one was 27.
And that's atypical of Dover. We don't normally expect that. You normally kind of need a long run car. Here's a look at what happened to Garrett Smithley.
Wow.
You see that right rear tire explode on the exit of the corner. He's fortunate that he didn't hit the wall harder right there. Man, just the worst place that could happen.
You don't see that often in that. Wow. The tire just absolutely shredded apart.
And he was
instantly
in the mix there of the 5th, 6th, 7th place cars. That's Carson Quapple right there, and Harrison Burton just coming through, hitting that little piece of debris. So it was in and amongst the leaders at the time of that tire blow.
A lot of debris on the racetrack there. You know, if you're one of the cars, one of the leaders there, as you came back around, you Want to try and avoid all that, not pick any of that up on your tires. Let's take a listen to the Sevens radio.
We don't have any more tires left. We're made our bed.
What about that set ahead, like 2 or 3 laps on it?
I mean, if you want to come down and put them on, we can.
I'm good. You tell me, man.
Nobody else has tires either.
Yeah,
as a driver, you're out there and it feels terrible. But the reality is it's so hard to pass at this racetrack. Unless they all come to put tires on, you're almost going to be better off to stay out right here.
Yeah, and would expect the only guy to come down would be Austin Green, who, these are his tires. He's got that set of stickers. 26 cars on the lead lap, and he's 23rd, so he's only going to lose 3 spots. And then he'll restart with fresh tires with 35-ish to go.
Yeah, and based on where he ran earlier in the race, this is a perfect scenario for the 87 team to get to have fresh tires. They're going to have similar track position to what they had earlier, but with better tires than everybody. So hopefully they can get a great finish out of this. We'll see how much of a difference tires make on that car.
On board with Jesse Love here, and he's going to head down to pit road 2 to continue to work on that 2 car that has some damage from the earlier contact with the 88. Let's go to Progressive Pit Road and Kim.
And remember, Austin Green last in on lap 95 for tires and fuel, so was getting a little closer to that fuel window. This caution came at the perfect time. Remember, they were looking for a big enough delta on the tires that he'd have an advantage, so they'll get those fresh sticker tires on that 87. Austin saying he needed entry security. Center was tight. Going over the bumps, the car felt a little light, and then it snapped on exit. They did make an air pressure adjustment. Fuel going in that machine. So this caution fell right to them, and you also see that chassis adjustment.
Austin's been in the top 10 in 2 of the last 3 races, including a week ago at Watkins Glen on a different strategy. We'll see what they can do under caution for the Garrett Smithley spin.
Coming up next, Banana Ball is back on the CW as the Savannah Bananas take on the Loco Beach Coconuts in the finale of a 3-game set in Savannah. Prepare yourself for wild trick plays, random dance breaks, and high-octane competition as the red-hot Coconuts take on the scuffling Bananas. Will the Loco Beach crew keep bashing banana balls, or can the Nanners' top-notch pitching staff quiet the Coconuts' scorching offense? It's the greatest show in sports, and we'll have it for you live, up next on the CW.
NASCAR on the CW is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people. Progressive, save when you bundle motorcycle, RV, and boat insurance. Visit progressive.com. And by Arby's, we have the meats. Back with you here at Dover for the stretch run to the finish. 36 to go right now under yellow for the 9th time today. Garrett Smithley bringing out the most recent yellow as the NASCAR safety team continues to pick up the debris over there in turns 3 and 4.
Quite an eventful day.
It has been.
Here. If this is any indication, tomorrow the All-Star race.
That's right.
Might be in for a real show.
That's right. Track has produced some entertaining moments today, and expect more of that tomorrow. Unique format, so can't wait to tune in for that. Check out how Dover's first All-Star race goes.
The Monster's been racy.
Yes,
Seen good
all weekend.
All weekends, great side-by-side racing. Just put a lot of the drivers in tough positions, which has led to some wrecks.
And I think the intensity is only going to continue to ramp up here with just over 30 to go. Justin Allgaier, the race leader, looking for his third Dover win. William Sawalich and Sam Mayer, everybody back to Harrison Burton in 7th with 8-lap fresher tires than the 7.
And the importance of these restarts as we get later in this race. We've talked about it with 100 to go, how important it was to get control of this race. Now for Justin Allgaier or William Sawalich, these restarts are so crucial. If you can get control of this race, it could be game over for that other car.
You want to have the lead down the backstretch.
Yes.
You don't have to have that guy on your inside entering turn 3, because as it gets closer to the end, people are going to be willing to take more of a risk. And got to look at Mayer, who chose actually behind Justin Allgaier right there, thinking that outside might be the place to be.
Quickly before green, let's check in with Carla Metz in the CW garage.
Yeah, thanks, Dylan. Well, it's pretty crazy to think that we are into week 14 and we still have not seen an overtime finish in the O'Reilly Series. It's the longest stretch to start the season in series history. The last time we saw one was in October in Martinsville, where Taylor Gray got his first career win. So just how abnormal is it? Well, since 2021, we've averaged 12 overtimes per season, but maybe don't expect that to be the case today. Yes, we've had 9 cautions, but we've only seen 1 overtime finish in the last 24 Dover races, Dylan.
Well,
wow.
I'm curious to see if that
today has gone.
I had that note too about the last 24 races, only 1 overtime restart, and I was thinking earlier, well, we might have a chance to add another one to that just based on how today's going. We will find out shortly. Field will come back to green with 34 laps to go. Justin Allgaier, the race leader, chose the outside lane. William Sawalich fills out the front row. Corey Day and Sam Mayer in row 2. Back to green at the Monster Mile.
Justin does a great launch right there. Is he going to be able to clear the 18? He is. Look at how far he drives it down in there. Sawalich will have a little run on exit, but no, Justin shuts the door.
And look at Sam Mayer around the outside of Corey Day.
Tight.
It got really close. He almost got cleared, but nope. He has now cleared Corey Day down into 3 and can set his sights on William Sawalich and Justin Allgaier.
And as fast as Mayer was before that yellow, I think he knew he needed to get going there, get by the 17 as quick as he could to focus his attention on the 18 and the 7 out front. Good race here for 5th. Carson Quapple, Brandon Jones, Austin Hill, Harrison Burton all in the mix there.
We haven't mentioned Austin Hill much today. Fighting up here in the top 10 for 8th right now on the bottom.
It's been a really quiet day for Austin Hill. I don't know we've even mentioned his name today, but you said it. Top 10's having a great run here for the 21.
And they need a good run. Just 2 top 10s in the last 8 races for the 21 team. Sam Mayer, meanwhile, has dialed up the back bumper of William Sawalich for 2nd.
He's got to make quick work right here of William if he wants to have a shot at winning this race. I think it was critical that he needed to get by the 18 on that restart. We know how hard it is to pass. We've seen a lot of guys run drivers down, but he gets clipped to the wall. But actually being able to make that pass, especially with a fresh restart, guys can run the bottom a little bit longer right here. You see Justin Allgaier just slowly driving away right now. It's built up almost a 2nd lead.
Yeah, Sam Mayer's got to push as hard as he can to get to that back bumper of William Sawalich, maybe get him out of the groove a little bit. The longer he runs there, the more abuse that's going to put through his tires, take away some of that performance advantage he had before we had this last caution. So he's got to try as hard as he can right now. As the left side of your screen, Brett Cruz super sideways as Austin Green tries to use those new tires to come through the field.
Cruz back in 21st. With that right side damage. Been a long day, but had made up a lot of progress over the course of the afternoon. Austin Hill, Brandon Jones racing for the 6th spot.
Yeah, Austin Hill having his best run of the day right here when it counts the most. You see Brandon Jones all over the back of him right there. Gosh, all the way up to 6th, so turning it into a great finish here.
And this is a more typical Austin Hill day than we're used to seeing compared to what you mentioned over the last 8 or so races. just have not been typical for what we're seeing out of that 21 team in Austin Hill. But usually, even if they're not great to start, it's at the end that team comes online late and is a contender late in these races like we're seeing today.
Mayer's going to have to figure out how to make that outside groove work. It looks like to me like the 18 of William Sawalich is glued to the bottom. Saw him drive into 3 to second. He's a little bit quicker
there,
but he's just not able to watch. If William goes to the bottom, he'll lose the nose right here.
Or just get to him.
Oh, he does.
Oh, there you go.
Moved him out of the way. Great move.
But now Williams going to have the leverage on the outside. You got to be careful not to lose the right rear here.
Seen these guys racing hard all day long for positions inside the top 5, and now it's for the runner-up spot.
Well, and if you're the 18, you're a little frustrated because he packed air on you and moved you up out of the groove, so you're going to race him a little bit harder here. Clearly, Sam Mayer's got a great car.
Oh, if he can clear him here, this would be big. He does right there. Williams not able to get back to him. Great pass.
They brought Corey Day into the mix there as well in the 17. Second, third, and fourth all right together as Sawalich moves higher to block the 17.
Now Sam Mayer's got a big task, though. 1.5 seconds behind Justin Allgaier. We'll see if he had the same speed he had the run before. He was definitely faster than the 7, but now, oh, that was caught the 54 there very quickly in an awkward position.
Still was able to run almost match Justin's lap time, even with the issue of Taylor Gray being on the exit of turn 4. These guys are running 25 flat lap times right now. Seen it fall off almost to 25.50s, but I think the track's getting a little quicker as the sun's going down. It's cooling down. Corey Day
had to go way up top
in the grandstands, passing people on the outside. Can't get much higher than where he was right there.
Well, he did that earlier and passed, I think, Jesse Love, so he's not afraid to go up there and put the right rear up against the fence if he has to. Gap between first and second, just over a second and a half. Allgaier, with the laps led today, 51 of them, has now reached 600 career laps led at Dover, puts him 5th all time. He is so good at this racetrack.
Look at the 17's lap times. He has found a ton of speed, almost 2.5 tenths quicker. Those spotters are going to need to tell both Mayer and Allgaier where the 17's running. It's a long ways around the top through the middle of the corner. But watch the speed, right? This is a great perspective. Watch the speed that the 17 is going to have on the exit of the corner right here versus the 41. He's probably going 5, 6, 7 miles an hour quicker. He wants the top.
He kind of ran out of straightaway there.
Yeah.
Had so much speed.
And Sam's countered, but look.
But he can't go high enough.
Gassed it up, got to his outside. 17 is in a great position to go up and win this race now.
He'll be clear behind him.
Mayer raced him pretty clean there, gave him a lane off the outside of turn 2.
Look at how high he is right there, flirting with disaster. If you step up just a little bit too far right there, it goes from a ton of grip to none, but he is doing an awesome job at making that work.
And with 21 laps to go, the one thing you want to do also is just not abuse those outside tires too much. You can hurt a tire up there this late in the race. How much rubber's been laid down, I don't think it's a big threat, but 21 laps to go is a fair amount of laps to be running that high up. We'll see if that speed can last up there, but he's absolutely flying right now.
I tell him to go like hell. Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out at the end.
And there is a little bit of a tire deficit as well for Allgaier, about an 8-lap difference between he and the tires on the 17. Let's get some 7-team radio.
We need to move. He just runs the top of the black in both corners, all the way through the corner to top of the black.
It's great information right there, and Allgaier's entering just a little bit lower. It takes a few laps to get disciplined enough to enter as high as what Corey Day is, but you got a great reference. You see Larson over there on the right-hand side of your screen smiling, because obviously that's where he loves to run. But Justin's trying to do exactly what he needs to. He's got the information now. You're here, spotter, reference that. And you, as a driver inside of the car, you use the lighter and the darker part of the racetrack to kind of reference where you need to be.
You know, Kim had a conversation with crew chief Adam Wall earlier this year where he talked about he expected Corey's first Corey's first win to come at Bristol, where you need this bravado to move around and make speed. This is another place that fits right into that wheelhouse of searching around for grip and speed and just making it happen however you have to, and you can see it there. The last few laps, Day has been much quicker in the 17.
Look, the best part of what we're watching right now is the speed is around the top of the racetrack, but it is a long ways from the bottom to the top of this. If Corey Day or Sam Mayer can catch Allgaier, it leaves him so vulnerable, because if they run the bottom, you can slide up in front of him. It's going to be awesome if we can get to the end of this and that the 17 can catch him.
17 is on the move, Kim.
That's right, Dylan, and you kind of likened this to Bristol. We had that conversation with Adam Wall, and he thought maybe Corey would run at Bristol. Well, so many drivers described Dover as Bristol on crack. And when I was talking to Adam Wall, he said, you know, despite Corey not having been at this racetrack, this is a high-speed track. You have to be able to mentally slow things down. So his sprint car background plays right into that, the ability to just slow down things at a track that goes so quickly. And the other thing is, the goal for this team was, remember, they had a great start to the season, and then Texas crashed on the first lap, had a DNF last weekend, did not go their way. So Adam said the goal was to get back to where they were pre-Texas. I would say a second place and a win would definitely check that box.
No doubt.
Well, he continues to move the groove up right in the middle of the corner.
Yeah, it's
Watching
gotten
how
higher.
high. Yeah, it's every lap. It's about 3 more inches that he moves up, and he's turning down, driving off just a little bit straight. Has tremendous straightaway speed with that. It's not 0.2 a lap. It's like 0.04 a lap. It's just slowly.
Justin has been matching him the last couple of laps, so Justin has adjusted to this. You mentioned discipline on the entry of the corner. I call it confidence as well. You need to have the confidence to go up to the top side and know it's going to stick. Justin's had enough laps to feel it out, to adjust to running the top side, and has been able to respond to what Corey Day was doing.
Mayer has moved up there too. Third car in the shot. Not quite as high as the 7 and 17, but
the other thing that's helped Justin by being able to move up there is that the lap cars are given the top until the top was higher than they want to run. Right. And then they're like, well, you go ahead. You can have all the way up there. I don't really want to be there. But you see Justin's now almost on the exact same line as what Corey Day is now. It looks to me like the 17's moved down a little bit on exit, just trying to get a straighter drive.
Maybe looking just for a little bit of cleaner air, trying to get away from the wake of that 7 car. You don't want to fall exactly in his tire tracks. Right now, as you get closer, you're going to start to feel the effects of that dirty air behind him, so you try to get to a different positioning, get the headlight higher, headlight lower.
Boy, he was in the gray there.
Black marks now.
He was in his own groove on entry.
Serious entry confidence.
That is just not, hadn't hit the wall enough yet, is what that is, because it takes a lot of courage to get up there, but he has done a tremendous job of, look at how much he closed in right there.
Something there.
It's almost like getting that higher gave him the speed that he needed down the backstretch and into turn 3. Let's see if he does it again right here.
Fastest car in the racetrack the last 2 laps is the 17.
See the lap car, Dawson Cram right here in front of the 7. Needs to give him the top.
And there's 2 lap cars
for the bottom.
And he may impede Day here.
Oh, it is.
There's 2 lap cars right in the way of the 17, who's got to turn to the bottom. And he lost 2 or 3 car lengths there.
That worked out perfect.
Perfect for Justin.
The 7. But look at that, he's already running back down here. It's almost like the 17's just getting more and more aggressive on corner entry, able to charge the corner and have the confidence he needs that it's going to turn as he gets down through the middle. Justin's got to move back up just a little bit. They're going to need to tell him that the 17 is, again, about a car length higher than he was.
And they've got a couple laps before they're going to hit traffic again. And really just a couple cars sort of sporadically spread out so they won't come into a group. But oh, wow, Corey gets real high there.
Well, it's speed, but it's just so risky right there of what he can do. He's actually been a little better in this end as he's moved it. Both of them now. Look, Allgaier has countered that, and he is now running as high as the 17, but not with the same speed down the straightaway, it doesn't look to me like.
Oh, Corey may have gotten the wall there on entry to turn number 1. Just ever so slightly. Was right up against it. 7 to go, coming to 6 to go right here. 3 last lap passes this season, potentially setting ourselves up for another one here this afternoon.
And Jamie, you mentioned it, go like hell. It doesn't matter, whatever it takes at this point. You just have to go and see if you can find anything. He is there at the bumper of Justin Allgaier. What does he do this momentum?
Well, Justin's cheating the entry just a little bit, not entering quite as high as Corey. but it's going to be hard for Corey Day to make this pass. He's going to have to get that run and then commit to the bottom. He's not going to get to the outside, I don't think, of the 7 car. Justin will counter with that. He'll give him all the bottom
look at this.
that he wants as they now, look at how the 17 can turn down though and get that. Look at the massive run he has down the straightaway right there.
Lap car Blake Lothian just out the front windshield there of Allgaier. 5 laps to go. That diamond has started to work for the 17.
Oh, yeah.
He's there. Justin just cannot let him get to his right rear.
Absolutely not. You can lose this by letting him get to your inside, but you cannot give him the outside. See where this lap car is going to go. Hopefully the spotters are telling him where they are.
Justin was indecision.
I think the lap car was undecided too.
Oh boy, Corey's going to be able to beat his outside here on the exit of the corner.
Oh, real side. He's into the wall and takes the lead.
What a pass.
Great stuff at the front. The lap car throwing both of the leaders for a loop, but Allgaier not giving up. Back to the left rear. Day clears in 3 to go.
Well, that's going to be Allgaier's only hope, is that he can try to make the bottom work, but just be shocked when we've seen the speed out of the 17. Look at how loose the 7 is on the bottom.
And Day's got the gap he needs now.
And the momentum that Corey has on that top side. Now if you're Corey, we said go like hell before, now just back it down just a tick. You have control of this race. It's going to be really hard for Justin to respond on the bottom or to gather momentum in just 2 laps on the top side.
Ryan Ellis, veteran racer there, gets to the bottom and leaves the leaders to race it out. Corey Day led only the final lap in his win earlier this year at Talladega. He's not going to lead much more than that if he can hang on to this one. Out of turn 4, he'll look at the white flag. 1 to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank for Corey Day.
See all clean track in front of the 17 right here. He's going to maintain doing what he has. Allgaier's going to sit it in there deep, but I just don't think he's going to have enough.
And the biggest thing, just don't jump the cushion.
Final time down the back straightaway. He'll work the high lane through 3 and 4. Allgaier closes in again, but it's not enough. Out of turn 4, second win of the year. Corey Day victorious at Dover.
Well earned.
Awesome drive.
Hell yeah! Woo!
I don't know if anybody expected him to win at Talladega, but this feels a little bit more like a racetrack where we would expect Corey Day to put together a race-winning drive. Had to search around all day, and he earned that one in the closing laps.
That was so exciting to watch at the end. The fact that he just kept moving the groove up, and I think from Parker's and I's perspective that you've done that, and you know how hard it is to do, and a lap car played a role in him actually getting by Justin after he'd run him down. See, Justin goes to turn to the inside. Watch both these guys. They know how important this is. Both of them sideways right here. Corey bounces off the wall.
There's Adam Wall, the crew chief, Kyle Larson. This is the pass for the win. And they knew it at that moment. Their driver was going to get it done. Great stuff today.
We always talk about looking drivers that search and find a way to go faster. And what you saw there in those last 20 laps was a driver who just found something. He saw it.
Well, he didn't have the car 30 laps earlier.
No,
We talked about it.
What he did there, finding that line, pushing it higher, you know, all the risk it takes to do that and do it so well that you go and run down the leader and make a pass. That is so impressive, especially considering his level of experience in stock cars. That's just a great race car driver right there.
Well, it just looked like at the start of that run, he ran the bottom. We're like, oh, he fired off well. And then it was like, oh, he's fading the wrong way. But he moved to the top. He found the grip he needed. He ran a line that we hadn't seen by run all day long, and he made it work. And then to put the pressure on Justin in the lap cars and to make it all work, awesome job.
Nicely done with the burnout right there. I thought we were going right into the inside wall and stopped it perfectly.
Well done for Corey Day, and some other good performances as well inside the top 5. William Sawalich, a nice 4th place run. Austin Hill, a much needed 5th place run for him.
Yeah, top 5 for Austin Hill. That was huge. Way to get going here.
Great recovery.
Anthony Alfredo 10th as well. Nice recovery from him. Second win of the year for Corey Day. He won at Talladega. Crew is there to celebrate. And this kid proving once again he is legit. And for Hendrick Motorsports, it is their first win at Dover since September of 2003. Right at the screen, Justin Allgaier and Blake Lothian, who was the lap car that those two leaders had to work their way around.
Well, Justin's frustrated, but I think he's more saying, hey, if you get in that position again, here's what I think you should do. Great way to handle that situation, great champion.
And we remarked that Justin was in a point of indecision there, but he really was reading the car ahead of him, and he was trying to read what Blake wanted to do, and he's probably explained to him it was tough to read what you were wanting to do.
Kim is down on the front straightaway with the race winner, Corey Day.
Corey Day wins at Dover in his first series start. First time you ever saw this place, you were able to hunt down leader Justin Allgaier, and then you moved to the high line with lap traffic to get around him. Just walk me through those last laps in that battle for the lead.
Oh man, I was hoping that that's how it would have played out. I saved so hard there that early in that last run, 1-2 put on tires, and the yellow came out, and I was like, oh, this thing's gonna be a caution fest, and it was all for nothing, but oh man, it just worked out good. So thank you, Mr. Hendrick. Thank you, Jeff Andrews, Jeff Gordon. This one feels really, really good. The Talladega one was unexpected and super speedway and whatever, but we earned that one. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Corey Day, a winner in his first start at Dover, a two-time winner in the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Heather?
And walking now with Justin Allgaier, who caught up with Blake Lothian, who was the lap car there. I heard you say on the radio we got beat by the lap car. What was the conversation you had with that driver?
Yeah, it's a good teaching moment. Blake and I have spoke, a couple of times, and obviously super talented. Just he kind of made a move to go inside and then back outside, and then I just didn't know which lane he was going to go in. And unfortunately, let the 17 get to my outside. So hats off to Corey. That whole 17 team. He was running me down there at the end. We had a few laps older tires, but just proud of our team, proud of everybody on this brand for Circle to Chevy. I thought it wasn't the day that we wanted early on, and the team worked really hard, and we got off on that one cycle, and obviously that was the great thing for us track position-wise, but just disappointed to walk out of here with a second after lead that many laps to the end. So again, hats off to Corey and that whole 17 team, everybody at Hendrick Motorsports, Hendrick Engine Shop, Chevrolet, all of our partners. Just disappointing day.
518th start today for Justin Allgaier, just the 4th for Blake Lothian. So as he said, teaching opportunity there for sure, but not the way that anybody wanted that one to end, except Corey Day. He's the winner at Dover. Back for more to wrap things up. All done at Dover. Corey Day celebrating his second win of the year and second win of his career. For more O'Reilly Auto Parts Series coverage, log on to cwtv.com/sports and check out the CW social platforms for more post-race coverage as well. Don't forget to join us next week live from Charlotte. All-Star Race pole sitter Denny Hamlin in the booth with us on the CW. Can't wait to have a home race for all of NASCAR. Banana Ball coming up next. We congratulate Corey Day on his win today at Dover.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we